you guys doing? Can't hear you. All right, that was better. My name's Amryn, obviously you heard. I'm a photography student here at TedxUNCAsheville, and I've worked as a freelance photographer for almost 3 years now. My personal work is geared more toward conceptual self-portrait photography, and you're probably wondering what that means. Essentially, it means that I take photos of myself with either an idea or an emotion expressed implicitly or explicitly. Simply put, that's exactly what it is. Self-portrait photography causes you to subject yourself to a great deal of vulnerability. It's exactly what a lot of people are afraid of as an art form. You put yourself in front of a camera to be documented. You invite criticism in a very personal form. So when you are the art on display, you're expressing the emotion, you're displaying the idea, you're also the victim of judgment. Fear is only a natural response to this very self-inflicted, defenseless state. I know you're thinking, what could this 19-year-old tell me about fear that could give me any sort of insight? That's all right, because I'm wondering the exact same thing. When I was trying to decide what I wanted to say today, fear and doubt clouded my judgment. Fear of inadequacy, fear of failure, fear itself. They pushed themselves around inside my mind, and I couldn't believe how defining just one emotion could be. I found that this fear was in most aspects of my life. In photography, I found myself undermining my own progress and holding myself back by not learning new things and not taking chances. I was a creature of habit and became very attuned to taking the same photo, which is sort of like telling the same story over and over again, very redundant. When I began my photographic journey, I scoured the internet for images that spoke to me. I was drawn to self-portrait photography because I was so impressed by the amount of emotion and feelings and light and color that just these amazing artists could put into just an image. It shocked me. I saw these people as pioneers in self-portrait photography. I looked up to them, I saw their images as admirable, but my problem was that I put their images on a pedestal. I wanted to emulate them. I wanted to compete, to be comparable. This is a difficult thing to do because in arts, you can't compare. The way you compare is to find similarities in two things that are very different. Comparing art is trying to compare the way two different people see the world, which is a feat in and of itself. I was afraid of this judgment because usually it results in a comparison of one artist over another and eventually says that one is superior than another. I worked toward the goal of just going out and creating photos with myself and my equipment. I started off small. I took photos of myself in my house. I eventually moved on to my backyard. Covered myself in mud. You put yourself in crazy positions. You bend backwards. You lay in puddles. Eventually, I moved to outdoor locations with cars driving by, strangers asking questions. The experience of actually going out alone and taking photos is one of the most terrifying things I've ever done. But I find that now it's one of the most liberating feelings for me. This fear stunted my growth as an artist and as a person. I was afraid of this judgment, and I was afraid of success in some ways as well, and the pressures that came with it. I found that this fear was a paralyzing kind. It was a physical manifestation of anxiety and panic, so intense that I just didn't want to take the risk at all. I found the easiest way to understand fear was to realize that it has its place in life. Necessary fears should ground ideas that are too lofty. They should cause indecision, inspire choices, and warn you of danger. Paralyzing fears, on the other hand, keep you from doing things you really want and achieving goals you know that you are capable of. These fears serve no positive purpose. They only perpetuate anxiety. As much as I'd like to say that I've moved past these fears, I haven't. I still struggle with them, even now. But the only difference is that I've found a way to combat them by holding myself accountable. I realized that I needed to write down goals. I needed to make sure that I wasn't holding myself back. And I'd like to help you with this part today. If you guys see that there's index cards on either the tables in front of you, has everyone got one? I want you to write down your biggest fear. By writing it down and giving it to me, you're agreeing in front of all the witnesses around you and myself that you'll attempt to overcome this fear, either all at once or in small strides. Don't worry, it's anonymous. But I'm going to put these together in a small project after this is over. Everybody good? Ready? It's important to believe that overcoming these paralyzing fears is possible. Living a challenging and fulfilling life will inevitably be riddled with fear, but the ones that inspire you and the ones that push you are the ones worth living with. So I'd like to leave you all with my favorite quote. It's one that inspired everything I've said today. It's by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? But who are you not to be? Thank you.